Alright, let's put the new one in. I know this is hard for you to see a lot of this, but in all honesty, it's right there. You're not missing much. The new one, I'm gonna go in from this side. I know I'm blocking you. I just gotta line this up. I know you can't see. Don't yell at me. Just trying to get it lined up here. Get it started. Come on. Oh, really? You're gonna be that much of a pain? When I put these in, I try to get this snap ring and put the gap at the bottom. Tends to go a little better, usually. I say that now, but that's probably gonna give me grief. There it goes. I think it slipped in. It's not locked in yet, but it slipped in. Now, you gotta push it in until it clicks. Kind of. It came out. There it goes. Hopefully you can see that, a little bit of it. Now it should be locked, so I don't want to pull on the boot. I want to grab the metal piece in the back. It's locked in. Let me get some anti-seize to put on these threads before I stick it back in the knuckle. Always a good idea. Some on here. Try to keep it off your hands. Of course it won't work, but you try. Stuff gets over everything. No matter what you do, it gets all over you. Be nice. Put some high temp grease or anti-seize on these splines for the next person who has to get in here, so it's not all locked up in the hub. You know, in the hub and hard to get apart. Now, wiggle it around. There we go. My new axle nut. Get that spun on there just a little bit to keep it from dropping out. Let's get the hub back. Let's get the strut mount back. You probably should get alignment. At least get it checked. You had to break that loose. So let's rotate this. Let's see if we can get this back in place without too much grief. Alright, let me get my ABS line before I get too far. Make it hard to get to it. Put that back in. We are going to have to get a new one of these, which I will get. Look at that. Remember I told you it was bad? Look at that. Completely came off of there. Alright, looks like I'll be getting a new one of them. But I can get the rest of this. Actually, if I have to do that, let me get this apart, because that stuff's out of my way right now. It'll be a little easier to get in there with a tie rod in and everything. That sucks. But I'd rather have that than have it break later. At least we know it's broken. Oh. Alright, let's try that. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, alright. Came right off. So we gotta get an end link for this, for sure. I'm guessing my other one's broken too. They're both broken. That one's completely off. Great. I guess we got to get two of them. Okay. Alright. Alright then. Let's start hooking stuff back up, at least in the meantime. Beautiful. Man, I wasn't really planning on that, but I don't really have a choice. Got to do that. Wow. Not a lot of torque on these. I think it's pretty low. I'm not gonna run it down with the gun. I'm just gonna snug it up a little bit. Not a lot. And I'll come back and torque that. Where's my 17? Not cranking on them. I got the torque spec. I gotta go look it up. Just snug them up so I can get stuff back together, and then I'll torque. Alright, let's put the rotor and everything back on here. That's it for the axle, except I've got to tighten the... Obviously, I'm going to put the rotor and everything back on, but I've got to tighten the axle nut. I think it's like 166 to 188 or something. I'm going to put about... I'll probably put it about 175. Now we're talking. Rust, and more rust. Gotta clean it off. Alright, before I forget, washer for the axle nut. Don't forget it. Almost, that's all sitting there. Gotta put that back on first. Lock washer, then the axle nut. Alright. Rehang bracket. Huh. Hang it like that. Let me hang it the right way. I know you can't see this. I'm just sticking 2 bolts back in. Still have to, before I put this caliper on, I have to tighten this tie rod end up. Torque that down. Put a cotter pin in it. Okay, do that cotter. I'm gonna go get my torque specs. A hole. It's right in. Come on. This is not very tight. This one says 23 foot-pounds. I don't know that I believe it, but it's not very tight, I'll tell you that. Lining up my cotter pin hole. Should be it. Let me get a cotter pin for that. Tighten that up, I'm done with that. You see here, just putting the cotter pin in it. Okay. This one's going to be a little tougher, and of course, caliper's in my way. So there's a little tip for you. Don't put your caliper back on before you tighten your strut. bolts because caliper's gonna be in the way. I think I'm just gonna loosen it, see if I can pivot it down enough to get that bolt rather than have to take the whole thing off of there. But don't do that. Pivot it out of the way so you can get at that bolt. Just saying, you do what you want, but I'll take my other side's gonna turn here. Oh, yes it is. There it is. $118. Now, put your caliper back on. Alright, so what do I have left? Well, the axle nut. That's it. Screwdriver. 6 screwdriver in here. Let me see. I think I said 180, but I don't know if that's right. Let me look. I got it written down. What is it? 2-wheel drive. 160 foot-pounds. That's what it says. Ooh, stepped on it. Oh, it's tight. Alright, let me get a little extension here. Let's just get in the way. Let's try that. Now I'll have to be right on top of it. There we go. So, they're tight. That's tight. That's tight. I need to get a new end link. Let me hook my ABS line back up here. Axle's in. Gonna put a cotter pin in there. For fun. Cotter pin, right? I don't think it came with one. I don't remember seeing one. That's nice of them not to give me one. It's alright. It's okay. So I'm on the lower end of that range for the axle nut, and it needs to go a little tighter because I've got to line the cotter pin hole up. That's better. Now I got a hole I can get in. That'll work. What about that guy? Yeah, he's a little long, but it'll work. I think it'll work. Tool management. Alright. Watch your eyes. Oh, that's a tough cotter pin there. I don't want to run that over. Don't have to be real tight, just has to be in there. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay, that's it. Done with that. Well, that's it. Hardest part was getting something in between that CV axle and the transmission. Pop it loose. That took me probably longer than anything. It obviously needs 2 new end links. The other side completely, I can move this up and down. Yeah, it really shouldn't move. The other side's connected, obviously the other side's broken. This side was broken as well. So we'll be replacing them. Separate video. Pretty easy job. Got spray in there. Clean my transmission housing off. Made a mess on the cardboard. I had a piece of cardboard in there, so it'll live. And that's it. Oh, grease. Yeah, don't forget that. You don't have to do this stuff, but you know, it does matter. It makes a difference. If it was a coated rotor, it wouldn't matter. Non-coated rotor, which I don't use anymore, because of these kind of reasons. There's probably half a pound of rust on the floor right now that I cleaned off of this thing. Just causes so many problems around here. You just buy the coated rotor and never have a problem with it. I'm going to leave the wheel off obviously for now because I've got to get my end links and I've got to do them, so no point in putting that back, but not too bad a job. Could you leave the caliper on here and the rotor? Maybe you could. You might just be able to break this loose and roll it down out of the way. I don't know. You could try it if you want. I just took the rotor and caliper off. Makes it easier to see and makes it easier to move it around. Watch your ABS line over here. Just, you know, probably best to just undo it since I had to undo it. It was getting a little tight. That's it. Well, that's it for the 2007 Hyundai Santa Fe. Driver's side CV axle. The one thing I forgot, which you probably saw, put a pan under the, before you pull that axle out. I forgot. Even though I just had that side up, it still spilled a lot of fluid out. I did refill the transmission back to where it should be, the right level. Got to see an end link, bad end link as well, did that, but pretty simple job, not that hard. The hardest part was getting something in behind, between the transmission housing and the CV axle to pop it out, but it just took me a little bit to get something in there. Got it, that popped out, and not too bad. Pretty easy to do. If you have to do this for your vehicle, I hope it helps you out. If you like the videos, subscribe below. Thanks for watching.